Good morning, everybody. I'm Jared Klein coming to you live from the NBC29 Digital Desk with this morning's Morning Rush. Let's start things off as we always do with a look at the top stories over on NBC29.com. At number one, this report that drug-related deaths are rising in Virginia seniors. We'll get to that story in just a moment. At number two, the Who's headed to the College World Series, beating Duke 12-2 to win the Super Regional yesterday. And at number three, UVA Health finds connection between menopause and long COVID. All right, we do start off this morning in Richmond. That's where the high school graduate and his stepfather, who were shot and killed last week, were remembered yesterday. Dozens gathered together to show their respects for Sean Jackson and Renzo Smith. Their family is calling for change after the mass shooting last week after a high school graduation. Jackson's 9-year-old sister, who was hit by a car while running away from that shooting, also attended the vigil in a wheelchair. Well, drug deaths are on the rise in Virginia seniors. According to America's Health Rankings, there was a whopping 94% uptick between 2019 and 2021. That's compared to 2014 to 2016. The same report found drug deaths increased nationally in seniors, but at a much lower rate. The chief medical officer for Medicare says it's important for doctors to screen for drug use in all patients. He also encourages anyone who is struggling with drug abuse to seek help from their local health care provider. Well, you may notice some more officers riding around on bikes in Charlottesville. The Charlottesville Police Department's new recruits are out patrolling on the two wheels. This allows officers fewer limitations when traveling to different areas in the city. They were trained in bicycle maneuvers and easier ways to assist people or make arrests. Another key part was learning how to communicate with hand signals, something you may not have thought of, but yeah, that's something they had to work on and train on before hitting the road in those bikes. All right, and then this is, of course, the big news today. The Cavaliers baseball team headed to the College World Series. UVA beat out Duke in a best-of-3 matchup at Disharoon Park over the weekend. This is the Who's 6th appearance in the College World Series in Omaha in 14 years. They will aim for their second title overall, and that series is set to begin Friday through Monday. We don't have the exact schedule out for when UVA will hit the field, but we'll let you know as soon as we know.
That was really exciting.
Did you watch the game?
I did, all three. Mm-hmm. It was really, the first one, yeah, I was like, oh no, and then they made it happen.
They made it happen. All right. So okay. Jennifer, you are back after your week-long hiatus.
Yes.
Definitely hard at work, not at the beach.
Oh, yeah, right. Not at the beach. I was at the beach. It was fun. So, all right. So, speaking of the beach, summer, kids, teens are entering the job, looking for that summer job. Yeah. And here's kind of a look at kind of the breakdown. So 1 in 5 teens make up a summer job. They're 1 in 5. So the teens are expected to make up nearly 1 in 5 summer hires this year.
Okay.
So that's that's what we meant. Okay. So here's where they're working. So 30% sports and recreation, 29% food and beverage, education, retail, accommodations, construction, manufacturing, and facilities. So that's kind of like where they're really looking at those jobs and getting hired in those sectors. So now this is a breakdown of how much they're getting paid. So sports and recreation, around $14, food and beverage, almost $15, education, almost $17, and then retail, accommodations, those are all around the $14, $15, construction, almost $18 an hour.
Wow.
So, and there's been a lot of discussions too about how it's actually, right now for teens, they're actually really making some good money with, because there's a shortage of people, so employers looking for employees. So it's a good year, I guess, summer to be a teen if you're looking for a job.
Summer to be a teen if you're looking for a job.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of money, here's some tips on how to actually save money on your air conditioning bills, as we have all those high temperatures. So here's a few things that you can do. You can give your system a break by using ceiling fans to kind of cut those costs. They're also talking about weather stripping, so insulating your home so you don't lose that AC. Install a smart thermostat. I had one at one of my homes. I loved it because you could really turn it down and then up when you were coming home. And then I thought this was interesting, an in-window AC unit. So especially if you have one room that gets hotter than others,
Yeah.
that's a way to kind of cut down. I wouldn't have thought
Saves
that.
you money. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that
I would have
either.
thought that would be the opposite, but that supposedly that works. And then of course getting your HVAC system maintenance, make sure it's running well and efficiently.
What
So
temperature do you like your house at?
I like mine at 71 degrees.
That's exactly what I do.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
71. Now, our meteorologist, Dominique Smith, she's infamous for being cold all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure her house, I'm going to have to ask her, I'm sure her house is
Like at 80.
up in the near 80. I'm
75,
serious.
yeah.
Like she
does get cold.
she gets cold very quickly, so
I'll have to find out because
Yeah.
you're right. I could see that.
all right.
Okay, and then finally, this is so this guy, Justin Miller, he would go on Facebook Marketplace looking at things to buy, and he came across this leather chair, which he thought was just kind of looked cool, had a neat, interesting shape. He spent $50 on it, and then 3 months later, he turned around and sold it for $85,000.
Wow.
So he went on TikTok and he was talking about this chair, and a lot of people were like, maybe you should reach out to an auction house. Maybe they would have some kind of information on the background of this chair. And it turns out it was only one of 50 ever made by this Danish designer, Fritz Henningsen. And a similar one sold for $100,000 at auction. But Sotheby's, they said they did some repairs because you can see there's some rips there.
Yeah, I can see.
So they did some repairs on the chair, and then it sold for $85,000.
Well, I wouldn't buy that chair for $50. Just looking at it, like, skip.
Oh, I was
So-
thinking the same thing. It looks greasy. It looks like someone who was greasy and didn't wear a shirt, perhaps,
I
sat in it.
I guess he was
Right?
planning for some tender loving care to like
I think he
repair
was.
it and then
Yeah, but then someone was like, reach out to an auction house and see, maybe
Yeah.
there's more to this. And it turns out it's a very rare designer leather chair.
wow.
So
Great find on Marketplace.
find.
Never know what you'll find.
never know.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast brought to you by Michael & Son. Cooling, a high of 80 degrees today with a chance of showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder out there. Drying out for our Tuesday with a high of 83, and it looks like we'll stay in the 80s throughout most of the week. An early look at the weekend, going to be a hot one, 90 degrees on Saturday with sunny skies, and then a chance of showers for our Father's Day. Again, this is 7 days out, so things can change between now and then, but this is just an early look, so maybe something to keep in mind as you make your Father's Day plans. All right, I hope you guys have a great day out there, great Monday, great start to the work week, and we'll see you again on NBC 29 News at noon.